So let us see how the expression for moment of inertia of a semicircular lamina can be derived. So let me take the semicircular lamina like this. This is the semicircular lamina. I will take the radius as r. Radius of this semicircular lamina as r and d is the diameter. I will take this axis as AB. This is O. This AB axis is called as the diametral axis. Diametral axis. Now we are finding the moment of inertia of this semicircular lamina about the diametral axis. So IAB means moment of inertia of the lamina or the area about diametral axis. AB is the diameter here. So it can be on any orientation. So it can be like this also, or it can be like this also, or it can be vertical also. So whatever it is about the diametral axis, let us derive the expression for the moment of inertia. Now I will take this AB itself as the x-axis, and I will take this as y-axis passing through the center of this semicircle. So I will take y-axis like this. Now you can observe that this semicircle is symmetrical about y-axis. So the figure is symmetrical about y-axis. That means left half of y-axis is same as right half of y-axis. For the derivation purpose, let me consider an elemental strip like this. It is a curved boundary. In the case of curved boundaries, we are going to use polar coordinates. Just I have explained in the centroid lecture. You can refer to that earlier lecture. So I will take this distance as r. I consider an elemental strip of area dA at a distance r from the origin O, and thickness of this elemental strip I will take it as dr because it is along the radial direction. The subtended angle of this elemental strip with the origin I will take it as d theta, and the angle of this elemental strip from the x-axis as theta. So theta is measured in the anti-clockwise direction. We can observe here the limits of integration for this r is r can vary from 0 to capital R. So this is very important. R can vary from 0 to capital R, where R is the radius of the semicircle. Theta can vary from here to complete here, that means 0 to pi, 180 degrees. So these are the limits of integration, because initially what we do is we are going to write the expression for the moment of inertia of this elemental area. Then we are going to convert that into expression of moment of inertia of the total area. So when you are finding for the total area, we have to integrate with respect to both r and theta, and we have to substitute the limits there. So 0 is the lower limit, r is the upper limit for r, 0 is the lower limit and pi is the upper limit for theta. Now let us use the concept of relationship between the Cartesian coordinates and polar coordinates. So r and theta, these are the polar coordinates. As you know, a point in a two-dimensional plane can be defined using either polar coordinates or Cartesian coordinates. Cartesian coordinates are x, y. So there is a relationship between these two. I have explained once again. You can refer the centroid notes. So the relationship is r is equal to square root of x square plus y square. Theta is tan inverse of y by x. Then x is r cos theta, y is r sin. So this is the relationship between the Cartesian coordinates and polar coordinates. Using these relations, we can always derive the expression for the moment of inertia. Now let us start from the first principles. From first principles, definition of moment of inertia. Now I am going to write this IAB. So IAB itself is the x-axis axis. So IAB becomes IXX here. So IAB is equal to now integral r square dA. Sorry, integral y square dA, because this IAB is itself is your x-axis. The distance from x-axis we have to take it as x here like this. This becomes x and this becomes y. Okay, this is from the definition. So now you have to substitute for this y as r sin theta. So r sin theta whole square into, I have to write the expression for dA. So dA is the elemental area. This elemental area is dA. Now you can see from trigonometry. So according to trigonometry, if you have an arc of a circle, something like this. Let us take this is an arc of a circle. This angle is alpha and this is r. This length of the arc of the circle, this is the arc length. L is given by r into alpha, where alpha is in radius. So those things are we have learned in trigonometry. Now that means according to that, this length becomes, that is your L now. So that L is equal to here, radius here is r, small r, and subtended angle is d theta. So r into d theta is the length of this arc. So when you multiply this L by this dr, this becomes a rectangle now. That elemental area becomes a rectangle now, whose area is dA is equal to now, dA is equal to this L into dr. So L into dr means r d theta into dr. So this expression we have to substitute for dA here. So r d theta into dr. Now it has got two variables here, both r and theta are the variables. So the single integral will be converted to double integral. So theta is equal to 0 to pi. Then here r can vary from 0 to capital R. So these are the limits of integration. Now we have to integrate this twice. Once with respect to r, then we have to integrate this to theta. Because this is an explicit function, it can be separated. Both the terms can be separated. IAB can be written as integral theta is equal to 0 to pi. Only theta terms right, it becomes sin square theta into d theta. So sin square theta d theta multiplied by integral r is equal to 0 to capital R square into r is r cube dr. Yes. So this is the separation of variables, integration by separation of variables. Now you have to integrate sin square theta, which is nothing but 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2. We have to integrate like this. This you have learned in your earlier classes. Theta varies from 0 to pi into integration of r cube is r power 4 by 4. Okay, 0 to capital. So now I will write this first. So substituting upper limit, it becomes r power 4 by 4. Lower limit is 0. So you need not substitute, it becomes 0. Into integration of this will be half I can take outside into integral of 1 minus cos 2 theta. So sin square theta can be written as 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2. So theta varies from 0 to pi. Now this becomes r power 4 by 8 into integration of 1 with respect to theta is theta minus integration of cos 2 theta is sin 2 theta by 2. These things you should be knowing. So earlier classes we have learned this 0 to pi. Now we have to substitute the upper limit and lower limit for theta also. R power 4 by 8 into upper limit for theta is pi minus sin 2 pi divided by 2. This is upper limit minus of lower limit theta is 0 minus sin 0 divided by 2. This is upper limit, this is lower limit. Now this term becomes 0 and sin 2 pi is also 0. So only pi you are going to get. So pi r power 4 by 8. So this is the expression for the moment of inertia of the semicircular lamina about the diametral axis. So this is how we have to do. Please note that the limits of integration vary from 0 to capital R for r and 0 to pi for theta. Now the same thing can be used for deriving the moment of inertia of circle as well as quarter circle also. So let me write here. Of course, before that, I will take up the moment of inertia of the semicircle about its centroidal axis. So sometimes that is also required for doing problem. So what I mean, you know that now moment of inertia of the semicircle with respect to diameter axis is pi r power 4 by 8. Now I will just write the moment of inertia of semicircle or semicircular lamina above its centroidal axis. Centroidal axis. So suppose it asks this, you have to proceed further. So here the figure will be like the same figure. So AB is the diameter axis, O is the origin, R is the radius. Now here what I do is symmetrical about y-axis, as you know. Now we have proved that the centroid of the semicircle lies at a distance of 4r by 3 pi from the diameter axis. This we have proved in the centroid chapter. You can refer the earlier video for that. The distance from the centroid from the diameter is 4r by 3 pi for a semicircle. Now here I will draw an axis passing through this centroid G, and I call it as Gx axis. Please note that this Gx axis is parallel to AB. So axis Gx is parallel to axis AB. Distance between these two is 4r by 3 pi. Now I know the moment of inertia of the semicircle about an axis, that is diameter axis. That means IAB is known. By knowing this, we have to find out moment of inertia about the centroidal axis, which is IGX. So you know by parallel axis theorem, IAB is equal to IGX plus A into YC square. This we have proved in the earlier lecture. So here I need IGX. IGX value I know the value of IAB. So IAB is pi r power 4 by 8. Just now we have derived. A is the area of the semicircle, which is pi r square by 2. Area of circle is pi r square. Area of semicircle is pi r square by 2. YC is the distance between the two parallel axes, that is 4r by 3 pi. Now use these three here, get the value of IGX. So IGX is equal to now IAB minus A into YC square. So IAB is pi r power 4 by 4 by 8 minus area is pi r square by 2 into YC is 4r by 3 pi square of that. That means I can write here, I can take this r power 4 outside. You can see pi by 8 will be there here minus here r power 4. If I take this is 4 square is 16. 16 pi divided by this is 9 pi square. 9 into 2 18. 18 pi square. So like this will get. Now we have to simplify this. R power 4 into pi by 8 minus of course this becomes 16 by 1 pi will get cancelled here. So it becomes 8 divided by 9 pi. Now let us see what is that value of that constant. So pi by 8 minus, I will just calculate this value. So it is pi divided by 8, which is right here r power 4 into 0.3927 minus 8 by 9 pi. 8 divided by 9 divided by pi. 0.2829. 2829. Okay, now if you simplify this, you will get 0.3927 minus 0.2829. It comes out to 0.1018, 0.1098 r power 4. So this is the expression for IGX. So if they ask you to find the moment of inertia of the semicircle about the centroidal axis, so this is the answer. So about the diameter axis is pi r power 4 by 8. So pi r power 4 by 8, if you write in decimals, so pi by 8. So pi by 8 is 0.3927. 3927 into r power 4. So this is the in decimal form, and this is in pi form. So that means you can observe here that IAB is greater than IGX. So that's why diameter axis is found out. Then we have to find out with respect to the centroidal axis. So this is the definition. This is the derivation of for a semicircle. Now, on similar lines, when I ask you to derive the expression for the moment of inertia of a circular lamina as well as quarter circular lamina. So if it is circular lamina, then what you have to do is, instead of taking semicircle, you have to write the diagram of a circle. So I write here MI of circular lamina. Of course, in the case of a semicircle, you will be having infinite number of diameters. So G is here. In the case of a circle, G is here, radius is R. Now here, if you want to derive the expression for moment of inertia, in this case, it is symmetrical about both the axes. Since the circular lamina is symmetrical about both the axes and centroid coincides with the origin, so your IGX and IGY both will be equal. But not in the case of semicircle. In the case of a circle, whenever a plane area is symmetrical about both the axes, x and y axis, then its moment of inertia will be equal about both the axes. That is the meaning. So the diagram for this derivation will be something like this. So same thing. So this is d theta, this is r, this is dr, this is your dA, this is theta. Like this, only difference is r varies from 0 to capital R, whereas theta varies from 0 to 2 pi. Please note that this is very important. Other things are same. You have to start from first principles. Integral y square d I have to write. Only thing is the limits of integration for theta will be 0 and 2 pi, whereas for semicircle it is 0 and pi. In the case of a quarter circle, so it is 0 to pi by 2. So in the case of quarter circle, the limits of integration will be from 0 to pi by 2. So on similar lines, we can always derive the expression for semicircle, quarter circle also. So for a circle, if you do like this, what you get, IGX will be equal to IGY, which is equal to double that of semicircle. So because that means it is 2 times pi r power 4 by 8, or you can write it as pi r power 4 by 4. In terms of diameter, if you write, you know that diameter d is equal to 2 times r. So if you take diameter of circle as 2r, d, then 2r, then this becomes, if you take d is equal to 2r here, r is equal to d by 2. In terms of diameter also you can write, so pi by 4 into r is d by 2 to the power of 4. So it becomes pi d power 4 by 64. So this also you can use. In terms of diameter, moment of inertia of a circle is pi d power 4 by 64. So in the case of semicircle, it becomes pi d power 4 by 32 for a semicircle. So we will write for all the three here. So I about the diametral axis, I will write here I diametral axis. It can be anything, AB or whatever it is. E is equal to pi r power 4 by 8. Or it can be half of this, pi d power 4 by 120. If you put r is equal to d by 2, so it becomes pi d power 4 by 128 we are going to get. Okay? You will get 16 into a into 124. For circle I or IG, anything, IGX or IGY, any diametral axis. So this is also about all these three are about diametral axis. It is pi r power 4 by 4, that is 2 times of this, which is pi d power 4 by 64. For quarter circle, once again it is I with respect to diametral axis. That will be 1/4 of this or half of this. That means pi r power 4 by 16 or pi d power 4 by 256. So these are the formulae for the moment of inertia of circle, semicircle and quarter circle about the diametral axis. If you want about the centroidal axis, in the case of course here diametral axis and centroidal axis both are same here in the case of circle, whereas here it will be different. In the case of a quarter circle, the centroid lies at a distance of, this is all, centroid lies at a distance of equal distance from the center O. So this OA is the diametral axis or OB is the diametral axis. In this case, the horizontal distance of the centroid from the origin as well as the vertical distance of the centroid of the origin is 4r by 3 pi only. All this I have explained the centroid. So we have to take suppose if you want IGX here, so parallel axis theorem we have to use here, and if you want IGX in the case of quarter circle, IGX will be IOA. I can write IOA minus A into YC square, where YC is this. We can take like this or like this. So IOA we have already you know that it comes out to be pi r over 4 by 16. 16 you are going to get, minus A is the area of the quarter circle, which is pi r square by 4. For circle it is pi r square, quarter circle pi r square by 4 into YC square means it is 4r by 3 pi whole square. Now if you simplify this, you will get the value of IGX. So that's similar to the semicircle this thing. Whereas in the case of the circle, your IGX is the same as diametral axis. So this is the same as I of about diametral axis. Because in the case of circle, it is symmetrical about both the axes, x and y axis. Therefore, it will be like this. So this is very important. Derivation important. They may ask a circle or semicircle or quarter circle. Only thing is the limits of integration will be different. In the case of semicircle, limits of integration for theta 0 to pi, and limits of integration for r doesn't change, 0 to capital R. In the case of circle, limits of integration theta 0 to 2 pi, and r it doesn't change, 0 to capital R. Then in the case of quarter circle, theta can vary from 0 to pi by 2 and r can vary from 0 to r by capital R. So these are the limits of integration. Procedure remains same for all the three types of laminae.